Eric and I just arrived at the Mansfield Flea Market. We can't wait to see what kind of antiques and vintage treasures we can dig up. These birds are really interesting. I have something similar to this in brass, but this metal tone is a little bit different. I think they're awesome. I wasn't prepared to see a whole table full of plants here today, but this table is getting a lot of customers and a lot of repeat customers. So, note to self, plants are here. I'm checking out all of these huge wooden boxes. I guess these were used for beverages. This one is for Simpson's Spring, but there's other brands representing. There's Eric. Like this Hires root beer. This tin is so interesting. Rivets in these metal boxes do not tarnish. This is such a cute little box that would look adorable for lots of different things. And I guess this was an old advertising display piece with great colors. This is a really nice sign. Eric was just checking this out. It's on this old chair that's seen better days, and there's a drying rack below it. This tray is really cute. I think this man has a really terrible headache. Yikes. I really like these oval frames, but they're not perfect. I would have paid 10, maybe 15, but 20, I don't think so. I like them, but not for 20. This little primitive baby is freaking out Eric as usual. He gets very nervous around primitive children. And this is a really nice, I wonder if this is a courting candle. I think it might be. There's so many interesting things on this table. What is up with this little wooden figurine, this woman with the bonnet? She's really interesting. There's no markings on her. And she has a friend. He looks very stern and slightly Danish. But this tag says, oops, Amish people? These are really nice silhouettes too. I just can't really tell how old they are. $25 for the pair is not a terrible price. If I liked the frames more, they would seriously tempt me. And this is an interesting paperweight. It has kind of a 3D effect, which is really kind of neat. I like the interior scene on this, but it's missing its backing, so I'm gonna leave it. If you're in the market for milk glass, I know where you can find some. There is a lot of it here. It's a very pretty tureen. Actually, there's several very pretty tureens on this table. You know I love glassware and porcelain and all of the breakables. But this table is very different, and they have the Fisher-Price farm that I have, except this one has the animals that go with it. That is amazing. I never see the animals. You could probably buy them separately on eBay. It's always nice to see some beautiful linens, and I love it when they're displayed nicely on hangers. Just makes it so much easier to go through them. This one is really nice. I love the lace and the beautiful pink embroidered flowers. They're so like raised up with a 3D effect. Very pretty. And there's a whole bin full of doilies, so of course I've got to go through these. I love it when they have these little rosette details. I think those are so nice, but there's lots of good ones. This wheelbarrow is so beautiful and so well made. It has so much rustic charm. This was made by Yankee Wheelbarrow Company, handcrafted reproductions. It definitely has a very high-end look, and $260 seems like a fair price for it. There's Eric, and I thought I would show you a little bit of what I'm looking at. All of the tables full of interesting old things. I love this hall teapot. This is such a cute one. I had this one on my eBay store a while back. There's the good old hall logo. I think the yellow color on this is so cheerful. There's a pretty lamp here as well. It's very Gone with the Wind chic. And I really like this old mixing bowl.
Somebody was trying to be fancy.
This is a pretty vase. It looks like watermelon glass, but it was made by Teleflora, which, could still be vintage, but a little bit less valuable than some of the other makers. It's still pretty though. And over here we have some vintage jewelry and jewelry boxes. This one's pretty. It's got nice velvet lining. The sun is blazing today, and my heart goes out to some of these vendors that are out here in the direct sun. There are shady parts here, but this is not one of them. What a great rooster. Wouldn't that look awesome in a breakfast place? I'm eyeing up this tray. I have something very similar to it, but mine is oval. I don't like that discoloration mark, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would be inclined to take that home. I think it has a great vintage look. I keep mine in my dressing room. This is a very pretty basket, isn't it? With the woman. And this was made in Austria. And this is pretty. What would you say? Would you say that's a little teapot, perhaps? It's very pretty. I like the bird on top. And this is really pretty. I think this is missing its lid, but it could still be a beautiful vase. This is made by Rosenthal. Rosenthal makes beautiful things. In fact, I think I've sold plates in that same pattern before. And last piece, look at this little picture. No marking on the back, but I like the courting couple in the cobalt blue with the gold accents. These chickens are really funny, and they seem to be made out of feathers, which is kind of interesting. So I'm checking them out. My cats would destroy these in about 5 seconds flat. Look at the owl. This is a beautiful toll tray. I like the handles on this, and I like the shape. It's got very pretty painting on it, and the red one's really nice as well. I think I prefer the black, and I think this is Catherine Home Lotus pattern. It's like a little baking dish or casserole. It's hard to see the name on the back stamp, but it's very pretty. I don't often see Catherine Home at flea markets, so it's fun to see this piece. I'm checking out this vintage castle. This was part of the He-Man universe in the early 1980s. This dealer has lots of accessories to go with it and lots of the figures. There are so many beautiful flowers here. The prices seem fair. Not that different from Home Depot or Lowe's. I'm wondering if this is like a Rose of Sharon. Do you know? If you know, leave me a comment, please. But I think the foliage is lovely. And this one's pretty with the deeper pink color, too. There's something about vintage fans that just strike me as being so nostalgic. This one was made by Deal or Beal? I'm not sure how you say that, but it really is a nice fan. I always think these look so dangerous, so easy to get little hands right inside the blades.
Eric, what did you pick up?
Steel wool.
How much did you pay for it?
$4 for 2.
Excellent. What are you going to use it for?
To clean brass and clean stuff. It's the ultra
Clean my
fine.
stuff?
Clean your stuff.
Nice. Then it was a great purchase.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
This is such a lovely image. I really like this castle.
Okay.
And it's signed. And this one's really nice too. I can't pay $20 each and make a profit, so sadly, I'm gonna leave them here. Nice little picture in the green and white. I don't see green and white as much as I see other colors, but I really, really like it. This was made by Alfred Meekin in England. It's a great size and would be a gorgeous vase. This vintage metal dollhouse is so interesting, and I've never seen one quite like this one before. So I want to get a closer look. I want to see what the interiors look like. You can see there's rugs and all kinds of artwork and window treatments. So many precious details. What a pretty pink and white bowl. And this is really nice as well. I don't know about that lid though. That would be pretty hard to get on and off. This picture's interesting. No back stamp on that, but I like the glaze.
It's really kind of interesting. What's the back of that?
And Eric is checking out this really cool pumpkin, which I guess you could use as a tureen. I like it a lot, actually. That'd be great for fall decor. We're moving on out. There's so much to see here today. This is a very sweet vase. I like the flowers on this. This was made by Left in China. I find Left in China makes a lot of really pretty vintage things. There's a little Lenox dish there. Some roosters. We've got Hall poppy pattern. And also the harvest pattern. So many pretty things. Here's some Fisher Price that is not of my era. I suspect this was sometime after my childhood. There's lots of accessories that go with this. I love the fence. I used to have a fence that went with my barn when I was a kid. It's long gone now, of course. And this looks like a parking garage. I had a parking garage also when I was a kid, but mine did not look like this one. So I think maybe 1980s. That's my guess. Eric is not appreciating this wall art. He's finding it pretty gruesome, but I think the frame is so unique. He also loved this metal tractor. Isn't it awesome? I like these blow mold ghosts. Before you know it, it's going to be Halloween season. Someone would be lucky to have those as part of their decor. I'm checking out some of the things on this table as well. Nice coffee grinder. I'm going to take a few minutes and leaf through these old photographs. I always love to go through these. There's some damage on them. This was Aunt Susan Brown. And who do we have here? Oh my gosh, could you imagine wearing that dress? It looks so heavy and hot, doesn't it? And here is Grandma Cop, very bespeckled. And here's a very old looking photograph album. It looks like the photographs have been removed from it, but I know there are collectors who really just like the albums and don't care whether they have photographs or not. I have a very similar Stife lion myself. I love Stife stuffed animals. This guy is Leo, and he's got his original tag, which adds to his value. Mine's missing that. $125 is kind of the going price for this guy. I love this little Fisher Price phonograph. Isn't it adorable? I love that it's in its original box. I don't often see children's toys in their original box. We're appreciating these bookends. These are particularly well made. They're nice and heavy, as bookends need to be. This is the Lincoln Memorial, and the manufacture of these pieces are particularly good, according to Eric, who seems to have some background on this. We have lots of bookends, so we're going to leave these behind. I so enjoy seeing old play school puzzles. I have a couple on my eBay store right now, and I've sold a few as well. These are really charming. They are so tempting to me, but they don't sell really fast, so I'm going to leave these here, but it's nice just to go through them.
Cool, huh?
Eric's checking out this amber eagle plate. You can never have too many amber eagle plates in your life. I think this one is an ashtray also. This is a very pretty cup and saucer. Look at those delicate purple flowers. This was made by Royal Stewart, made in England. So pretty, so delicate. These are gorgeous old photographs in very elaborate frames. Aren't they beautiful? Some of the photographs are on the faint side, but you still get the general gist of it. $60 for this one. And over here, there's this fabulous bowl with the chicken and eggs on it. That is a really nice piece. We've got some copper and some vintage brass. I'm like a magpie. I see this shiny brightness and I flock right to it. Well, that was a lot of fun, but we are now making our way to the car. It's time to hit the road.
We are utterly melted, but it was a fun day. We didn't find a lot of stuff. The prices were a little too high to pick things up to resell, and there weren't a lot of things we wanted for our own house, but we did make a couple of key purchases that I'm very happy with. I'll show you when we get home. Let's hit the road. Eric and I had so much fun at the Mansfield Flea Market. We didn't buy much, but it was really fun just to walk around and see what they had for sale. And I'll tell you, whenever I go to a flea market, I'm always hoping to find something really unusual, something beautiful, a piece of home decor, preferably something really old, you know, a wonderful antique. And once in a while I get lucky and I find something like that. And other times I come home with something that's more like this, which I think we can agree is not a beautiful antique. It is not a fabulous home decor piece. In fact, this is an old vintage toy from the early 1980s. This was Skeletor's castle from the He-Man universe around 1981-ish, I believe. And you might be wondering why I would buy such a thing. And the reason is pretty simple. My youngest brother, Jay, who loved that cartoon as a child, has asked me repeatedly if I ever found, I think this is called Castle Greystone or Grayskull, I forget, but he said if I've ever seen Skeletor's castle when I'm out and about for a good price, would I please pick it up for him because he's been wanting one. He's collected He-Man and a few of the other figures, and he thought it would be really great to have a castle to show them off in. And I guess he's looked to pick them up in other places, and they've always been kind of expensive relative to what he wants to spend. So this one was, I think I got this for $25. If I remember correctly, which was not a terrible price. And this is actually going to be a Christmas present for my brother Jay. So I will put it away until then and hope that he's excited when he sees it. Don't ask me how I would wrap such a crazy gift because I don't know, but I do want to show you that it opens up like this. And it's got some figures inside, so I'm gonna give you a better look at this. Here's a look inside the castle, and I've got three figures that they threw in for me. It's got this like little elevator, and there's some other little plasticky parts. Looks like a throne. There's a ladder. I don't know. Couple of things. Maybe my brother will know what they're for. I'm not really sure. I think this door is supposed to drop open or something. I don't want to fuss with it too much because I don't really know what it's supposed to do. There's also like this little graphic here at the bottom. I don't know, not the usual kind of thing you see on my channel, but there's a first time for everything, right? There's the cat. It sure is ugly, isn't it? Yikes. The only other thing I picked up was this very pretty red and white, or some people call this pink and white, but I always think of this as red and white. This beautiful platter. It has these sweet cottages on it. And I thought it was just the perfect size for somebody's home decor. It could be used, of course, for serving, or it could just be a little accent piece. And there's no crazing or staining or anything. It's in really nice condition. I'm holding it at an angle so you don't get a glare from my light. And this was made by Enoch Woods. It's called English Scenery. It's woodsware made in England. So there is the back stamp. And this pretty little tray or platter will be available on my eBay store. Be sure to check out my eBay store though, even though I'm only putting one thing on it from my adventures, because I do have a few other bits and pieces that I've added, things I picked up along the way, and I just haven't had a chance to list them. And every now and then when I get a little extra time, I try to pop some of those things on my eBay store. So if you haven't been there in a while, you might want to check it out. It's late September and I am ashamed to say I haven't even started my fall decor. It's just been so busy with the new job and all the other projects around the house, I haven't gotten to it. But today I'm gonna start, and I am so ready to refresh my kitchen and to give it some fall vibes. First though, a lot of decluttering, cleaning, and organizing needs to happen, so we might as well just get right to it. Before we start, I think we need a good before shot so you can see the extent of the current horror. Things really do pile up. I think my favorite is the dead flowers in the vase. I think that's especially attractive. Nothing we can't take care of. And as much as I love the shelves, I'm ready to mix them up a little bit. Now the key here is Iris loves to knock things off these shelves, so I need to be really careful about what goes up here. I'm just ready for it. I'm ready for a refresh and a declutter and to start to feel a little bit of fall coming through my colonial house. This pineapple a little bit later today. The Keurig is staying out and we clean that regularly. I have pods here in a jar, which I kind of have liked, but the jar is really beaten up. You can see the top just pops off. So I think I'm gonna move these, and we have some other little bits and pieces that don't need to be here. So I'm just gonna do a little declutter in this area and then we're good to go. By the way, I'm really enjoying these San Francisco Bay coffee pods. They don't have the same amount of plastic on them, so hopefully they're a little bit healthier. They taste great, so they've been a hit all around. So the pods are in this bowl for now, which is where we used to keep them. And some of the cat bowls have accumulated in here and other bowls that go in other places, so I'll move those. And I think what I'll do is I will try to order some liners for these drawers. That would be really nice. Something to just kind of keep them clean, and then I can pull the liners out and wash them instead of scrubbing down the inside of the drawers, which just takes a little bit more time and is kind of annoying. I'm not getting into that today. I'll be honest with you. My back has not been great for a while now. I've been seeing the chiropractor. It's getting better, but I am aware of not wanting to push my luck. I'm only going to have so much energy to do so many things, and I want to really focus on the good stuff today. That is looking so much better. And listen, this isn't dirt on the floors. These floors are so shot. They desperately need to be refinished. That is nothing that we're gonna do anytime soon. We have 8 million projects happening, so this is just the way it is for right now. And someday we'll get to it, but not today. In the meantime, I've cleaned up everything else. I've done a lot of dusting. I've done lots of clearing up. I know just as I have cleaned, the cat is on the counter, but I always assume that there's been a cat on the counter. So whenever I do anything with food, I clean as though my life depended on it, because these guys are everywhere. And just because I haven't seen them doesn't mean it hasn't happened. So I don't worry too much about that. Here is a very dead dog toy. In fact, I think that gets tossed. I'm gonna straighten out this area. We've got another cat on some Chewy boxes and Amazon boxes that need to go wherever they go. And I have this little pile on the chair that I need to do. And then we have some stuff accumulating on the table until they move to their next location. But sometimes things look worse before they get better. And I am definitely making some serious progress here. Here we are, a blank slate and a cat in a cone. We've got it all going on. So I'm gonna transform these shelves, and I want this to last me for a little while. So even though it's still September, and I usually don't like to think about Halloween until October 1st, I'm gonna get ahead of myself and I'm gonna go all in. Started with a lot of pumpkins, as you saw, thinking I wanted to go over the top, kitschy Halloween. But now that I've done it and I've started to pare back, I'm feeling like I don't want to go that way after all, because I'm thinking, do I want to look at this for the next like 6 weeks? And I think the answer is no. So I'm going to keep some of the elements and I'm gonna tone down some of the others. And I'm gonna see if I like that better. It's so funny. Sometimes the idea you have in your head is not the one you go with in the end. It's always good to be flexible, and I'm ready for it. So let's change this up. Here is what I'm gonna live with for now, and I think it's giving me a good balanced look. I would love to know your thoughts, but let me show you what I did. So you'll see up on the top shelf, I have this funny cat doing a split, and I added some fake pumpkins, In the middle shelf, I added this great owl crock tray. I love crock trays, and I think this owl is perfect for Halloween. And I have this little raven next to it. And then on the bottom shelf, I have Edgar Allan Poe. That just seems appropriate, right, for Halloween. And I put a raven next to it. I have an old corn on the cob mold behind it. And this little trick-or-treat bottle I had picked up from like Joann's or somewhere. And then I have some of my older pieces, old mixing bowls, a reproduction candlestick holder, all these different kinds of things over there. So then moving on over here, on the top shelf, I have this little scene of children trick-or-treating, which I always thought was so cute. I've added a pumpkin in a bowl. In the middle shelf, I have this black cat game, which is so fun, on this little spider web block. And then on the next shelf, I put in these trick-or-treat cookie cutters that my grandmother picked up at a tag sale a long time ago. In fact, I think she got the black cat game at a tag sale as well. And then I have a little Alfred Hitchcock Presents book over here in the corner. So I think, let me back up. I think that's giving me a good sort of vintagey Halloween look, minus the kitsch, which got to be too much when I saw it all together in real life. So I'm happy with this for now. I'm sure I'll play around with it. And over here in the corner, I added this spooky ghost that I think is so cute. Dawn, who is a viewer of this channel, gave this ghost to me last year.
Now I'm gonna add some color and interest to the fireplace mantle in the front. I'm just using some faux pumpkins that I happen to have around. Eventually I'll go to a farm stand or a farmer's market or similar and get some real ones, but I try to use what I have when I can.
I hung this vintage pumpkin. I guess he's a jack-o'-lantern, right? I forget what this is, but anyway, I put this guy on the door, so we'll see him every day because we use this door primarily to get in and out of the house. So I think he looks great. He has a great vintage look. And I put this little trick-or-treat basket that we used when I was a kid over here on this little cupboard. We keep our keys here, so I traded out the little canister that our keys used to be in for something a little bit more seasonal. This is so cute. Then over here, I put this beautiful pillow. This is not Halloween. This is gorgeous for all times of the year, but I thought the colors were super autumnal. My friend Diane made this pillow. She's a quilter, and she gave it to me, and I absolutely love it. But the best part is, it's not just one gorgeous pillow. There are two, so I'll show you the other one in just a second, but let me show you the back. Isn't that fabric beautiful? And here's how the pillow slips in and out. She is so talented. Actually, let me take a break from my Halloween tour and show you the other pillow right now because it's just as beautiful. Here's the other one. I have this in the dining room. My dining room needs some serious TLC. I'm tackling one room at a time, but the colors of this pillow are so perfect with the dining room. It's unbelievable. Look at that. I mean, if that's not perfection, I don't know what is. This makes me want to reupholster all of my dining room chairs, something I would love to do someday. But anyway, yes, let's give a shout out to Diane for being such an amazing quilter and so thoughtful to give me such a beautiful, precious gift. I will absolutely treasure these. Back to the fall tour, I put these faux branches with berries and little faux pumpkins and things on the fireplace mantle just to make it a little bit interesting. And on the china cabinet, I added this little raven pillow on a string. And I've got a pumpkin peeking out just to kind of continue with our Halloween feeling.
I have some harvest baskets that I've plopped over here on this great wooden crate. I really like this. And I think they look so nice. And then over this way, I put the pumpkins, the little kitschy sort of orange plastic pumpkins here. And you know what? I love them here because it's kind of a dark corner. And then you see these like little happy, spooky faces poking out at you. So I think that's kind of cute. And I put some little guys up here on top of this antique medicine cabinet. And then just moving into the bathroom, I added a pumpkin and a raven on the corner shelf. So just a little something in here as well.
I think this is a good start. At least the kitchen is done, and now I have a fall feeling, and I'm a little ahead of myself for Halloween. And I'll start to tackle the other rooms one at a time. I think my next one will maybe be the dining room. But I like the idea of pacing it out so I don't feel overwhelmed, because after all, if decorating your house seasonally isn't fun, then you just shouldn't do it. That's my belief anyway. Let's go see what Eric is up to. He's been painting the front of the house. Actually, he's still doing the primer coat. And there's some kind of a bonding agent in the primer. I'm not really clear on how it all works, but he's been hard at it. So let's see what it's looking like. How's it going?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah, so go down there. It's all done over
Wow, it's so bright. It looks so clean. So this isn't the color, this is just the primer. But it looks so much better even just like this. Oh, you can see the yellow poking in right here between the windows. It's coming along.
Here we have Mr. Indy lounging on the bed. He's looking very cozy. And not far away from him is little sister with her cone on. Here's her little sweet face. Her face is healing, but she keeps nailing that scab. But the good news is that every time she does it, I feel like it's healed a little bit more, so she doesn't get like as deep into it as she used to. So she still does pull off the cones sometimes. We keep putting it on, trying to get this face to heal. We'll see what happens. She's had that thing on an awfully long time, but she gets lots of breaks too. Indy is scratching, but not to the extent that she is. So I continue to feel like their hypoallergenic food isn't helping. I think these really are seasonal allergies for these two, which is a shame because the food would have been easier to control. Fortunately, they're real cute, they're worth the trouble, and eventually we'll figure this all out.
Licorice just had her lunch, and now she's doing her happy dance. What you doing, crazy girl? Licorice, you good girl? I think she needs a cookie. And she's off.
So much for Licorice and her cookie. There's Iris trying to pull off her cone.
And this is Licorice wanting a second cookie, but I'm not going to fall for that one. Gang's all here. So that's what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed going through the flea market with me and getting into a little bit of seasonal decor, starting to dive into the Halloween spirit, and there will be more seasonal decor videos coming up, I promise. Until then, Indy and I hope you're having a great day. Please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope to see you next week. Bye for now.